Hello guys, welcome back. Now today we're going to be talking about the listing that the NHL just released on NHL.com. We're going to be talking about the top 15 NHL jerseys, the best-selling NHL jerseys from this past season, the 17-18 regular season. Now NHL.com released the top 15 Adidas best-selling jerseys, so we're going to look through the 2018 ones, but first we're going to look through the 2017 ones, see what the top 15 for that year was, compare them to 2018. Now let's start at number 15 in 2017. It started with Malkin, no surprise there. Number 14, they had Carey Price. Again, not really surprised. That was still a pretty good year for him. Then you have Zach Parise at number 13, which is a bit of a surprise. Again, I think he was injured that season and didn't have that much playing time, so that was kind of surprising right there. Number 12, you have Shane Gostisbehere. He had a good season that season, which for the Philadelphia Flyers isn't really surprising. That is a big market there. Number 11, Patrice Bergeron. Again, not surprised there. One of the biggest markets in the NHL, Boston. He's probably the best player there, so that's not really a big surprise there. And then you have at number 10, Ryan McDonagh, which, season isn't really a big surprise because, of course, he was our best defenseman last season. At number 9, you had Claude Giroux, which in 2017, he had that off season, that really bad point production season compared to what he's used to, which is kind of confusing because, just a little bit of spoilers here, in the 2018 list, he wasn't even in the top 15. So when he had the off year, he was in the top 15. When he had the monstrous 100-point season, he wasn't even in the top 15, which is very, very weird. But again, for the Flyers, that is a lot of jersey sales. Vlad Tarasenko at 8, and not really surprising, he's the franchise player for St. Louis. He had that great year that last season. So again, on the cover of NHL 17, he got a lot of recognition that year. Number 7, Alex Ovechkin, kind of low compared to a few years past, where he's at number 7. Again, for the Washington Capitals, that's a lot of jersey sales, and of course he's the franchise player there, so not too surprising, but I kind of expected him to be a little bit higher up there. Then at number 6, Connor McDavid. This was for the next season, where in 2018 he was at number 2, just a little more spoilers there, but at number 6, Connor McDavid, again, just amazing season. Not really too big of a surprise there. Number 5, you have Henrik Lundqvist, who was, of course, the franchise player for New York, and still is. So in that huge market, it's not too surprising that he'd be at number 5 at least. At number 4, you have Austin Matthews on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not really surprising there. Of course, one of the biggest markets in the NHL in Toronto. And of course, he had that monster rookie season, so he's going to get a lot of jersey sales. Of course, he's the franchise player there, so not surprising there. Could totally see that in the top 5. Austin Matthews dominating there too in his rookie season. He's going to get a lot of chunk of change from that. At number 3, Jonathan Toews. Not really too surprising. A lot of Chicago fans still buy on his jersey for the new Adidas jerseys. But for the last Reebok jerseys, Toews at number 3, still doing pretty decent there. Number 2, you have Patrick Kane, who was just above Toews. And again, I think that was the year where he's coming off that Art Ross, so he's going to get a lot of jersey sales. But not too surprising since he came there from Chicago. Again, one of the bigger markets in the NHL. You'll start to see this pattern where the big markets tend to get a lot of jersey sales. Patrick Kane, definitely not too surprising at number 2. Then at number 1, you have Sidney Crosby. Not surprising at all. That was the year where he went back-to-back Stanley Cup runs. Not surprising there at all for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And again, Sidney Crosby, the best player in the world, especially that season. I couldn't see anybody else doing that. That definitely isn't surprising at all, and Sidney Crosby definitely deserved to be there. Overall, not too many surprises on that 2017 list. I mean, Claude Giroux is probably the biggest surprise, but even then, he was still decent that season. So, again, not too many surprises. Then we switch over to the 2018 list, where it starts off with Evgeny Malkin. Again, 15th place, like last season. He was 15 in 2017, 15 in 2018. Then at number 14, Andrei Vasilevskiy, basically replacing Carey Price on that list. But Andrei Vasilevskiy definitely deserves to be there too. Number 13, you have Jack Eichel. At 13 last season, it was Zach Parise. But overall, I think he definitely deserves to be up there. I mean, Buffalo has a very underrated fan base, and they can definitely come out and buy droves in their leader's jersey. And I think that is pretty realistic there. And at number 13, I think Jack Eichel is soon to be expected. Number 12, TJ Oshie, replacing Shane Gostisbehere at number 12. And that's a bit interesting because TJ Oshie, he's not really a superstar in Washington, but he's still a good player. But at 12, I didn't think that he'd be up that high. Probably the biggest surprise on this list, to be honest. Number 11, Patrice Bergeron in the exact same place as he was last season. Definitely deserves to be up there, as I said before. And number 10, you have Vladimir Tarasenko dropping about a couple spots from last season, where he was at number 8. And number 9, there's Jonathan Toews, and he's dropped quite a bit from number 3, and I say well deserved because he definitely doesn't, at least on his play on the ice, doesn't deserve to be up there, but still really selling a lot of jerseys in Chicago, which is to be expected, but of course he's had that drop off, of course, with his play too. At number 8, you have Patrick Kane, so both guys dropping that amount of spots. It's pretty alarming from them, at least, with Chicago's downfall, kind of has gone with those players and with the jersey sales, so again, I kind of expected to see. Number 7, you have Matt Zuccarello, who has jumped quite a bit, and there really hasn't been a lot of cornerstone forwards that have come up through New York Rangers, so I guess there has to be that one guy to go up there, but Matt Zuccarello, I do love him, but it's at number 7. That's really unexpected, but good for him because I do like him. Number 6, you have Alex Ovechkin, who I guess got up one spot. Good for him, though. Always up there in the jersey sales, so again, to be expected. At number 5, you have Henrik Lundqvist, who was back in 2017, back at number 5. So the same spot through both seasons. I already talked about him, but again, he's the franchise player for New York, and really, I expect to see that for every single year that he's playing because he's a brilliant goaltender, one of my favorites of all time, and a lot of people love him too, and it's pretty expected to see because a lot of people like him too from the jersey sales, to just give you a little bit of a sample size. But Lundqvist has always been up there, and it's good to see him continuing to get jersey sales. But even in New York, when they had the down year, to have him still be in the same spot is pretty impressive there. Number 4, you have Marc-Andre Fleury, of course, the, best player in Vegas before the season, when a lot of people were buying his jersey because he was probably their best player going into the season. Not pretty expected to see there. I would expect a little bit more jersey, or at least Vegas jersey to be on there. Maybe like a Neil jersey pop in there, but just Fleury on this list. But at number 3 or number 4, I expected that because he has to be one Vegas player to be up there, because a lot of people are going to buy the Vegas jerseys, as I have. At number 3, you have Connor McDavid, who has jumped up 3 spots. Again, expected to see. He is the best player in the world probably right now. It's 2 straight Art Rosses, and he's doing fantastic. And of course, probably the best player in the world right now. So of course, he's going to get a lot of jersey sales, and that's probably expected. So him to jump up, he might even get to number 2, maybe number 1 next couple of seasons. We'll have to see how the Oilers do, because how good the Oilers do will probably affect how the jerseys will sell. But again, McDavid be up there all along it's expected to see, and it's definitely cool to see because McDavid definitely deserves to be there. At number 2, you have Sidney Crosby, who is at the number 1 spot last season, dropped down to number 2, and Sidney Crosby, he definitely deserves to be there. Again, as I said in that 2017 one, he definitely deserves to be up there, but a lot of people, of course, he's probably arguably the best player in the world with McDavid, so of course he's going to be up there. But at number 1, of course, I haven't mentioned him yet. He was at number 4 last season. Austin Matthews at number 1, and I kind of expected this, to be honest. Going into the season, I kind of expected this. He's had a great season, better than last season. He, in Toronto, probably the biggest market in the NHL, and new Adidas jerseys coming out, a new logo or not a new logo, but a new design for Toronto. But again, I expected this coming into the season because Austin Matthews is the face of Toronto right now, and that city is huge, and that fan base for the Maple Leafs is huge as well. I think a lot of people went out and bought that. I expected that just because of the fan base in of itself, man. Matthews is the franchise player, and once Toronto has a franchise face, they're going to go ham on buying jerseys, and I expected this, and it came true. But it is fun to compare from 2017 to 2018. There's a lot of people a lot of players that stayed in their spots. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist stayed in their spots, Evgeny Malkin stayed, Bergeron stayed. Kind of surprising since a lot of those things tend to shift a lot. But again, there's lots of surprises on this list, but sort of not. But I mean, there's a lot of guys I kind of expected to be that high. But if I had to choose one guy that I'd say the biggest surprise is, at least for 2018, I'd probably say TJ Oshie. I mean, again, he's not a franchise player. He's not a great player. He's a pretty good player and a really solid one, especially come the second half. But, man, him being 12 overall in the NHL, I mean, that's just weird, really surprising, really weird to see. But again, I mean, you'd see a lot more Ovechkin jerseys, but seeing Oshie up there, it's still weird to see. So again, that's probably my biggest surprise. But I love seeing these lists because it brings us some information about what the more popular players on the NHL are. I mean, it might not be the most popular players, but at least jersey-wise, they are. But that's going, guys. Like, subscribe, and not ring that bell button. And tell me down below what you think the biggest surprise here in the 2018 list is. What do you think of the list overall, and what did you expect from it? And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.